What's up, Green Peas? Welcome to Prison Junkie. And today, we're going to try something a little different. You know, I thought maybe I could do top fives, top tens, verses, cooking challenges, talking about addiction, talking about recovery. But today, I'm going to do something, again, a little bit different. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my story in a sequential manner from the beginning of my prison experience, which started with the last video, and I'll go ahead and provide a link below. So get in, buckle up, and get ready. Let's get unchained. So let's go ahead and pick up where we left off last time. I had bitten a piece of a man's face off. I did it to survive. I did it to protect my prison hustle, and I did it to protect my reputation. Now, what's next? So after going crazy in solitary for almost 2 weeks, I hear a knock at the door. I look down and I see a skinny little piece of paper, and it looked just like this. And it said, Al Burris Correctional Center, parole boot camp? Later, I found out that this is kind of a lottery pick. If you have X number of years, usually 5 or less, there is a very distinct possibility, especially if it's your first time in prison, that you would get parole boot camp. A couple of things you have to understand about Al Burris Correctional Center at the time is it had 4 distinct different categories of convict/inmate at the facility. Number 1, parole boot camp. Number 2, probation boot camp. Number 3, juveniles tried as adults. And then you had GP, which was general population. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video about Jackson Diagnostic, these were convicts who lived there permanently, or at least until they were transferred or their sentence ended. Everyone in the Georgia Department of Corrections gets a piece of paper like this. When you get one of these at Jackson Diagnostic, it's going to be at night. And then the following day, you're going to be on the bus. So I got this paper around 8 p.m. And what does this thing mean? This is like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, except the golden ticket doesn't get you... Actually, it's nothing like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, because didn't Willy Wonka's golden ticket, I think it got him like a partnership with Willy Wonka, who I'm pretty sure was some kind of weird pedophile. But still, I have to say, I was a little confused about the whole thing because I wasn't sentenced to parole boot camp. I wasn't sentenced to boot camp. And I really didn't think I'd be coming up for parole while I was in Jackson. I mean, what exactly did this mean? And you got to keep in mind, I was in solitary confinement because I had just bit a piece of a man's face off. Curiosity got the better of me, and I had to know what this meant because I certainly wasn't expecting parole boot camp. I mean, it sounded pretty sweet, but I had to make sure. Yo, Hannibal, where you going, cuz? I'm like, yo, Al Burris, Correctional Center. I mean, that place, you know, what else? Did you say anything else? Yeah, I mean, you know, look, I'm still, you gotta understand, I mean, face biting or not, I'm still green as hell. I'm like, yeah, Al Burris Correctional Center, parole boot camp. Man, you ain't shit. Oh, they freed the man. Oh, they freed the man. That man, yo, you got blessed.
Hey, Crystal, hey, yo, Cannibal, yo, the face eater over there, he's got parole boot camp, man, that kid's going home.
You know, when you hear stuff like that, I mean, you can't help but feel good, but needless to say, in the place that I was in, I was really the only one who was happy to hear this. But still, I didn't know exactly what I was getting into, but my cellie informed me that within 90 days, I'd be going home. Boy, I mean, you talk about great news. Going home in 90 days, are you kidding me? I never expected that. I never expected to go right to prison and then pretty much within just a couple of months, hit the street. Talk about hitting the lottery. Now it's time to get on the Bluebird Express and let's talk about prison bus rides because there really is a lot to talk about. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut the crap. Prison bus rides are really, 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 really boring. I mean, nothing's happening. You got 30, 40, 50, 60 dudes that are just miserable because there's no AC. The bus is older than Methuselah. It's hotter than a 3-ball Tomcat. And it takes forever to load, unload, and get to your destination because you have to go through multiple security checkpoints, security fences, and everybody has got to take a leak or take a crap because if you're going to use number 1 on a prison bus, you may not even have a toilet. You're only going to be covered waist high, so everybody can kind of see you, make eye contact with you. Go, hey, I like what you're working with down there. It's just my style. Hopefully, you and I will be at the same camp together. Hey, boy. I like the way you piss. Look, a lot of corners of the internet and YouTube channels and social media in general, they like to throw out there what's called a pro tip. Now, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to give you a con tip. So right here, right now, con tip number 1, never, ever, ever take a crap on a prison bus. Hey, man, when we was going to Jackson, you remember that dude that took a shit on our way to Waycross? What? That wasn't me. That wasn't me. Oh, no, it was you. Oh, it was you. Oh, yeah, we smelled you all the way from the back row. Row 33. Yeah, Crystal. Oh, yeah, that's you. That's your brand. Just don't do it. Just trust me on this one. So anyway, I kind of lucked out because Forsyth, Virginia, which is the location of Al Burris Correctional Center and consequently Georgia Parole Prison Bootcamp, is only 50 miles away from Jackson. So I was really lucky that it didn't take that long, but it took long enough for me to think about a few things. So on that bus ride, I had a couple of hours to think about what I was getting myself into, and I started to get excited. I mean, boot camp, discipline, honor, respect, physical fitness. Because after all, I had gotten a little chunky in jail, and Jackson Diagnostic, you're not really doing much. And I was scanning around the bus looking at all these miserable bastards going to these long-term destinations, some of them going forever. And I thought to myself, Yanni, you lucky dog. You really hit the jackpot this time, buddy. So I started thinking about boot camps, and I have to be honest with you, my mind was going in a lot of positive directions. I mean, and it's not such a bad thing to think about, to be honest with you, because, look, it's not forever. It's a limited amount of time. It's only 90 days, and my God, I mean, why not make myself into a better man in 90 days? This is your chance to be disciplined. This is your chance to get back into shape, to be a malleable piece of clay hardened into iron, a sharp weapon to be wielded. American Ninja Warrior. The imagination ran wild. The possibilities were endless. I was going to get out of this place with a Sig Sauer and the train-honed ability to be a real contract killer. Here I come, Georgia Parole Boot Camp. And here I come, America. All of those hopes and dreams were about to shatter in a million pieces. So we arrived at Al Burris, and it was everything I had dreamed. All of the tools to help me become the man that I was meant to be. The thing that I always wanted to achieve. To become an American Ninja Warrior. The rope climb. The wall jump thing with the rope. The tires. The hiking. The mud. The obstacle course. So only 2 of us get off the bus. You've got me, who at this point is already past 30 years old, and then another 18-year-old kid. As soon as we get behind the gate and they take us out of our shackles, 2 COs come charging at us. What are you looking at, boy? What are you looking at? You don't make eye contact when you face the fence. And I'm like, yeah, the fence. And immediately I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, here we go. I told you not to look at me. I told you not to make eye contact with me. What did I tell you? What did I tell you, boy? I'm not your boy. You address me. Every word, every first word and last word out of your mouth ends with sir. Then what does every first and last word start with? You got a mouth on you, boy. You got a real attitude problem. Well, no, I'm trying to get some clarification. You said that it had to end with sir. I told you not to make eye contact with me. All right, hard head. All right, hardhead, what are you, hard of hearing? You don't understand? Are you stupid or something? Well, no, I'm not stupid. In fact, let me tell you something. I used to be a gifted student. I mean, you is gifted. You ought to be gifted to the Salvation Army, you stupid bastard. Well, hey, man, hey, look. Since you're slow, forget about starting and ending. The first word out of your mouth is sir, and the last word out of your mouth is sir. What did my breath stink? What did I say, something funny? Sir, both, sir. I told you not to look at me. What do you mean both? Explain yourself, boot camper. And that's what they called us. They called us boot campers. They didn't call us inmates or convicts. They called us boot campers. Or alternatively, in my case, 124-2918. My GDC number, my Georgia Department of Corrections, DGs. What do you mean both? Explain yourself, boot camper. Sir, I have a vivid imagination, sir. What do you mean, vivid imagination? Well, sir, what I was laughing about, sir. Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it, boot camper. Well, everybody, I like to laugh. I like things that are funny. Let me laugh with you. Oh, by the way, 124-2918, boot camper. I'm Johnson, and this is Tucker. C.O. Tucker to you. Sir. Yes, sir. Get it? Sir, you really don't want to know, sir. It's very insulting, sir. It may be different now, but in Georgia parole boot camp back then, they couldn't hit you, at least on camera anywhere, out in the open. They couldn't hit you with a fist, and they couldn't hit you with an open hand. But what they could do is they could like shoulder check you. You know, they could hip check you. They could put their body into you. Boot camper, say it. Sir, your breath does stink, sir. What's it smell like? Sir. Boot camper, you better say it. You better say it or you going back to the hole. I know where you came from. Your breath. Say it. Better say it or you know where you're going. Your breath smells like you just got done blowing Thompson, sir. Sir, I mean C.O. Thompson, sir. Now, I'd love to tell you a story about a guy who went to prison, who was a little rough around the edges, redeemed himself, and became a huge success in life. I want to tell you that story. This isn't that story. So at this point, I realized my ride was going to be a little bumpy. And it really didn't even matter anyway, and I'm going to tell you why. There wasn't any orientation at all. So really, the orientation was mostly left to the inmates, the wannabe convicts, most of which had never even been to a real prison before. So we were all kind of green peas stuck in this boot camp bamboozlement. So yeah, there was an obstacle course, sure. All of the things I mentioned earlier, the ropes, the walls, the obstacles, the tires, the mud, the hills, the zip line, it's all there. But it's all for show. Now look, whatever prison channel you've ever seen a prison boot camp on, I can't speak for any other place. But what I can speak for is Georgia parole boot camp. And Georgia parole boot camp pretty much consisted of nothing, really. I mean, really, nothing. Deprivation, malnourishment, and lots of rubbing. And shining. And cleaning. And scrubbing. And rubbing. And shining. And cleaning. And scrubbing. And running. And shining. Sir, yes, sir. Did we march? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we marched. About 70 yards to the chow hall. Well, did you march anywhere else? Well, yeah, we marched back to the dorm. Well, did you march anywhere else? No, that was pretty much it. There wasn't going to be any discipline, intestinal fortitude, improving your strength, getting fit, becoming a ninja. None of that. All of that was off the table. All of that was off the table. And so you may be asking yourself, what about the obstacle course that you saw when you pulled up there? Well, it turns out that that obstacle course is for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Really, boot camp consisted of $12 per week on canteen and couldn't order food. That's a whopping $53 less than you could get as a general population prisoner. No stamps, no cigarettes, no food, and only 12 bucks. So really, boot camp just consisted of a lot of rules. Number one, no canteen, except for hygiene products. You could buy toothpaste, you could buy deodorant, you could buy all the dental floss you wanted. You could even buy nail clippers. Okay, great, but with $12 to spend, and you can only spend it on hygiene, what are you gonna do? Eat some speed stick with a side order of close-up? Number two, no yard call. There is no rec. There's no weights. There's no basketball. There's no softball. There's no sports whatsoever. And in fact, they don't give you anything to do. You can't buy cards. We're talking about basic 52 card deck. Ain't none of that. Forget about pinochle or anything like that. If you're going to play cards in prison boot camp in the state of Georgia, you're going to need a shitload of milk cartons. No, seriously, you're going to need a lot of milk cartons because each side is a card and then you use a crayon or whatever. And there's not even any books. There's no books. You can't, well, hold on. Let me back that up for just 1 second. That's not true. That's not true. You know, you're going to catch me in a lie, and I don't want to be dishonest with you. I want to be completely transparent with each and every one of you fine people. That's not true. There are books. There's the orientation manual, which is riveting stuff, by the way. The rules, the regulations, uniform code, facial hair regulations. There's the Bible. And now it brings us all the way back to food. The Georgia prison system is just like every other state prison system in that Monday through Thursday, you're going to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. However, the snag, the scam, is that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you only get breakfast and dinner. These aren't 3 traditional prison meals. And I can tell you, I've been in 7 different prisons in 2 different states. And there is no question in my mind, an incontrovertible fact, that number one, the Georgia State prison system has absolutely, without question, the worst slop. Let me just paint a little picture for you. Have you ever had boiled okra? Now look, I'm not talking about those, those delectable fried delights that you get at Golden Corral or your mama's Thanksgiving dinner. I'm talking about okra about this big, about the size of Vidalia onions. If there's one thing that you can count on in Georgia prison boot camp, it's that you're gonna get one item on that tray, every single tray. And you know what that item is? It's boiled okra, covered in snot. Seriously, look it up. Okra, when you boil it, it produces like some kind of ooze, slime. It looks like it's covered in primordial ooze, snot, slime, just goop. No, seriously, look at it. I pulled that off the internet. That's real. And that actually makes it look much more appetizing than it really is. So I say all that to say this. Convicts in boot camp, they hungry. Which leads me to the reason why you clicked on this video in the first place. How in the hell did I not make it through prison boot camp? 3 weeks into this, and it's a torture chamber. The one thing that I hate more than anything else about being locked up is being in the hole and being in prison boot camp. I mean, it's pretty much like being in the hole with a rag, a spray bottle, and a little company. That's it. You want to know how I got kicked out of prison boot camp? This. Oh yeah, this right here. It wasn't me, it wasn't the chip on my shoulder, it wasn't my bad attitude. No, it was a mop. Remember when I mentioned old C.O. Johnson? And wouldn't you know it, it just so happened that the majority of this man's detail wasn't just yelling at recruits coming off the Bluebird Express. Nah, it was running the parole boot camp dorm. So look, we've already established that they're keeping a very close eye on us. We're not going anywhere. We're stuck in the dorm. However, every once in a while, they'll allow a detail a hand-picked group of boot campers to go outside the dorm and handle a special detail. And generally on these outside details, you'll have 5 guys out of 40 who win the lottery. One thing is guaranteed to happen. You're going to get a pack-out lunch. When you're only getting 2 meals a day, getting that pack-out makes all the difference. What about that $12 in hygiene? Surely you could trade that off for some food. And you could. But you're missing a few pieces of crucial information. So let's break that down real quick. Number 1, you're only getting 50 cents on the dollar for that $12 in hygiene. So that automatically knocks you down from $12 to $6. Number 2, you either have to know someone or be the guy who's going on the detail to meet a GP, which has to be prearranged to make the transaction. And number 3, you got to eat it immediately. You know why? Because you're patted down each and every time you enter the cell house. Have you ever tried to suitcase a honey bun? So at this point, I'm 3 weeks into my Georgia prison boot camp experience, and we're on day 3 of the starvation schedule. Friday has come and gone, and neither me nor any of my friends have gotten any of the outside detail. Saturday, come and gone. So at this point, in week 3 of my prison boot camp experience, I have never, not one time, have I been picked for outside detail. There was one particular group that was continually getting picked again and again. The same guys, the same group, the same type, etc., etc. And now here comes Sunday. Today's the day. We're gonna get picked. We gotta get picked. We haven't been picked in ages. Surely somebody that I know or somebody that I'm cool with is gonna get on this outside detail. We can get something to eat. No. Look, when you're in a place like this, you don't have much recourse as a boot camper. The only thing that you can really do is push paper. And what does that mean, push paper? It means file grievances. So that's what I did. I wrote this grievance out and I put Johnson on straight blast. The handwriting is perfect. The grammar is exquisite. But genius that I am, I get everybody to sign it and I leave the paper, the grievance, I leave it in my cell while I'm taking care of my inside detail. Which, by the way, consisted of mopping the same spot for 2 hours. And oh, by the way, guess what? Johnson comes into my cell while I'm mopping the same spot for 2 hours. Oh, you're done? Do it again. Oh, you've done it 3 times? Do it 4 times. Oh, you've done it 4 times? Do it 5 times. Oh, you've only done it 7 times? Well, geez, you've got at least another, we got 35 minutes. You got another 3 times to go. Finally, I get done with my Mary Poppins routine and it's time to clean up and put the cleaning supplies up. The mop bucket, dumping it out. The mop itself, putting it back in the closet. And you know what's funny about it is everything is painted in silhouette. So as I'm putting the mop on its silhouette and painted hook, I hear an unmistakable sound. Cristo! 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 Get your ass out of here! Now I try to ignore it, but it just so happens there's only one Cristo. Oh, Cristo, you trying to get me in trouble? You trying to get me in trouble? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I mean, that's all I hear, man. Hell no, Cristo, Cristo, hell no, Cristo. All I really hear are like 3 phrases. Cristo, hell no, and I'm gonna get your ass. You trying to get me in trouble? I got something for you, boy. So man, I've hit my breaking point. This place sucks. I was expecting to get out of jail and not end up in parole boot camp. I mean, I was expecting to live the life of a convict, man. I'm trying to smoke, get a little skeeter leg over here, get some soda, smoke some contraband, maybe shank somebody. I mean, I'm trying to live the life of a convict. They got me over here polishing doorknobs. And then this clown keeps yelling my name. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna rip it up. Ain't nobody gonna see this. I come racing out of the broom closet. You gonna fix me? You're gonna fix me? Hey, everybody, he's ripping up the grievance. Everybody, he's ripping up the grievance. You gonna fix me? You gonna fix me? This guy starts backpedaling like a cartoon character. I mean, he looks terrified of me. He must have heard that story from Jackson. I mean, word be traveling around the Georgia prison system. I mean, you would think I was an 8-foot-tall gorilla, the way this dude was looking at me. Johnson, I don't give a damn. Go ahead and rip it up. I'll keep writing grievances. I got your ticket, pal. I got your ticket, Johnson. Next thing you know, this guy's on his comm. Back up, boot camper don't lost his shit. Boot camper don't lost his shit. He charging me with a stick.
10-4, suspect is armed. Backup is en route.
And at that point, I'm in mid-stride, just trying to make my point. All I'm doing is yelling. I mean, that's it. I ain't trying to do nothing more than talk. Nothing. But when he says, back up, Bootcamp don't lost his shit. Bootcamp don't lost his shit. He charging me with a stick. I look down like in slow motion. I'm like, no. I was just talking. No. That's just my. Forget about the grievance. Everything's fine. Not 18. No matter how many pleas I copped, no matter how many apologies I made, there's no reasoning with the Ninja Turtles. When they got your number, they coming to get you, and you're gonna get got. So needless to say, 3 weeks later, I find myself right back where I ended up at Jackson, in the hole. Except this time, it's a little different because there's one detail that I left out of this whole equation when I started this story, and it's the fact that if you do find yourself in a probation, parole, or prison boot camp, at least in the state of Georgia and at least at Alburris Correctional Center, you will have the option to sign out. All you have to do is request the paperwork to sign out, and within a week or two, you're well on your way to another compound. So anyway, at the end of the day, they charged me with interfering with correctional procedure. So in 2 weeks, I'm out, I'll start parole boot camp again, and I'll be out in 90 to 120 days. Right? Wrong. I start doing the mental gymnastics, the calculations in my head, because at this point, I already had 12 months and change on my 2-year sentence already done. And with my sentence, I was up for parole at 15 months. So at that point, I had about 85 days before my parole decision would come back. And why wouldn't I make it? I'm a nonviolent offender. It's my first time in prison. I'm a lock to go home, right? 90 to 120 days, plus 2 weeks, or 85 days, and I'm a lock to make parole. I mean, no brainer, easy decision, do the math. So I signed the paper. Let me tell you something about prison. Machiavellian plots, evil genius plans, complicated mathematical calculations. And you're probably asking, would you do it again? Was it all worth it? No matter how smart you are, when you overthink things, when you overanalyze things in prison, and you probably want to know, did I make parole? Well, I can tell you this. My next leg on this tour was in Long State Prison in Ludwig, Georgia. 99 times out of 100, it doesn't add up. What the fuck am I talking about? So if you like this video, go ahead and check out the first in the series right here. If you got something out of this video and you want to see the newest one when it drops, go ahead and smash that subscribe button with a mop handle and shank that like button. Hey, look, and go ahead and mix it up down there in the comments section. If you do, I guarantee you will get feedback personally from me.